Karen parked her Porsche on my ranch, so I towed it with my tractor and built a fence. Can you imagine waking up to find a luxury sports car blocking your only access road? Its owner a stranger demanding you move your entire life for their convenience. The sun was barely kissing the horizon, painting the Arizona desert in hues of fiery orange and soft pink, when I, Jake, a third-generation rancher, stepped onto my porch with a steaming mug of coffee. The peaceful morning silence, usually broken only by the lowing of cattle, was abruptly shattered by an obnoxious blare of a car horn. My blood ran cold. There, smack dab in the middle of my private access road, a road I'd built with my own hands and inherited from my granddad, sat a gleaming, jet-black Porsche 911. And leaning against it, arms crossed, designer sunglasses perched on her nose, was a woman who practically radiated entitlement. "Excuse me," she shrieked, her voice cutting through the crisp morning air like a rusty saw. "Are you the owner of this rustic establishment? I demand you move your unsightly fence immediately. It's blocking my view of the sunset, and frankly, it's an eyesore." This was Karen. Her tone, her posture, the sheer audacity of her demand, it all screamed, "I own the world, and you're just living in it." My fence, a sturdy, well-maintained structure that had marked my property line for decades, was suddenly an eyesore blocking her view. My rustic establishment was a working ranch, my home, my family's legacy. The main conflict, stark and immediate, was laid bare. Karen, the epitome of self-absorbed privilege, had decided my property was her personal scenic overlook and my life was an inconvenience to be cleared away. Her air of superiority was almost palpable, a thick, suffocating cloud of disdain. I took a deep breath, trying to keep my voice level. "Ma'am, this is private property. That fence has been here for 50 years, and this road is for my ranching operations. You're trespassing, and your car is blocking my access. I need you to move it." Karen scoffed, a sound so dismissive it made my teeth clench. "Oh, please, don't be so dramatic. It's just a little bit of land. And honestly, your ranching operations are hardly a priority when one is trying to enjoy the natural beauty of the desert. I'm here for my wellness retreat down the road, and this is the perfect spot for my morning meditation. Move your fence. Now." She gestured imperiously with a perfectly manicured hand, as if commanding the very earth to shift. Her arrogance was breathtaking, her sense of entitlement boundless. My initial attempts at a peaceful resolution were met with a brick wall of self-importance. I tried to explain the logistical nightmare her car presented, the daily cattle drives, the supply trucks. She simply waved her hand. "Details, details. Figure it out. My aura needs unobstructed views." It became clear that reasoned discussion was a foreign concept to Karen. Then, she did something truly egregious. As I was trying to explain the importance of the access road for emergency vehicles, she pulled out her phone, started recording, and began narrating a fantastical tale of an aggressive, uncooperative rancher threatening a peace-seeking meditator. Before I could react, she deliberately backed her Porsche up, not just blocking the road, but strategically parking it to block my main cattle gate as well. "There," she announced, a smug smirk on her face. "Now you have to move your fence to get your little cows out." It was an act of pure, unadulterated spite, a blatant attempt to exert her perceived dominance. She had effectively shut down my entire operation, trapping my livestock and preventing any movement of goods. Just as the hot Arizona sun began to beat down, reflecting off the Porsche's polished surface and intensifying my frustration, a small, red drone whizzed past my ear. My nephew, young Billy, a tech-savvy kid who often visited the ranch, was behind it. He'd been flying it around the property for fun, experimenting with its new high-definition camera. He landed it precisely at my feet, his eyes wide. "Uncle Jake, you're not gonna believe this." He played back the footage. Clear as day, it showed Karen not just parking her car, but intentionally placing large, decorative rocks she'd brought in her trunk directly in front of my gate, then gloating about it on her phone. The audio was crystal clear, and now the rustic lout can't even get his cows out. Serves him right for being so provincial. The infuriating part was, her actions weren't just an inconvenience to me. My ranch supplied organic beef to a local food cooperative, which in turn provided affordable, healthy food to underserved communities in Phoenix. This blockade meant delayed deliveries, potential spoilage, and a direct impact on families who relied on those affordable provisions. Karen's petty tantrum was causing a ripple effect, hurting far more people than just me. The stakes had just skyrocketed. Armed with irrefutable proof, I marched toward Karen, the drone footage playing on Billy's tablet. You deliberately blocked my gate and my road, and you boasted about it. Karen, initially, was unperturbed. That's a lie. Your drone footage is doctored. And besides, I have every right to park wherever I please. You're harassing me. She then tried to snatch the tablet, her eyes blazing with a mixture of rage and desperation. Just as she lunged, a dusty pickup truck pulled up, kicking up a cloud of red dust. Out stepped Sheriff Brody, a man whose easygoing demeanor belied a keen mind and an unwavering commitment to justice. Beside him was an official from the local land management office, Ms. Delgado, a stern woman known for her meticulous record-keeping. "Everything all right here, Jake?" Sheriff Brody's voice was calm, but his gaze was fixed on Karen. Karen immediately launched into a theatrical performance, clutching her chest. "Sheriff, thank goodness you're here. This man is threatening me, and he's illegally trying to claim public land as his own." Ms. Delgado, however, wasn't having any of it. "Ms. Park, we've received multiple complaints about your behavior in this area. And frankly, your permit for that wellness retreat expired last month, and you've been issued several warnings about your unregistered drone activity over private property." Ms. Delgado then pulled out a binder. Furthermore, the county zoning maps clearly show this entire area, including the access road and the fence, as private property belonging to the Miller Ranch, and has been for over 70 years. The color drained from Karen's face. The mention of unregistered drone activity clearly hit a nerve, and she nervously glanced at her own drone, which was still in her car. Then, a smaller twist. Ms. Delgado pulled out a laminated photo. "And we also have this, Ms. Park. A complaint from the homeowner whose prize-winning rose garden you completely trampled last week, claiming you were gathering natural elements for a crystal grid." It was a small, seemingly unrelated incident, but it painted a clear picture of a pattern of entitled, destructive behavior. Karen's carefully constructed facade of victimhood crumbled. Sheriff Brody stepped forward, his voice firm. "Ms. Park, we have video evidence of you intentionally obstructing a private road and gate and tampering with property. That's a felony. And based on Ms. Delgado's information, there are additional charges to consider, including trespassing and property damage. I'm afraid I'm going to have to impound your vehicle and take you down to the station." Karen's composure utterly disintegrated. Her face contorted into a mask of pure terror. "No, you can't. This is all a misunderstanding. My retreat, my followers, my reputation," she stammered, her voice rising to a frantic pitch. The entitled Karen, who minutes ago had demanded the world bend to her will, was now a trembling mess, her carefully constructed image shattering before our eyes. The fallout was swift and brutal. Karen, already on probation for a previous minor incident of creative landscaping, which involved rerouting a neighbor's irrigation system into her own pool, faced multiple felony charges for property damage and obstruction of justice. The local news, tipped off by a few of Karen's disgruntled wellness clients, ran the story with relish, complete with Billy's drone footage. Her wellness empire, built on flimsy promises and Instagram filters, crumbled overnight. Sponsors dropped her, her online following evaporated, and the very people who had once praised her enlightened spirit now publicly condemned her. The retreat she was running was shut down, revealed to be an unlicensed operation with questionable practices. She lost everything: her lavish home, her carefully curated image, her wealth, and her freedom. The Porsche, a symbol of her inflated ego, was impounded and eventually sold to cover legal fees and restitution. The poetic justice wasn't lost on me. As for me, with Sheriff Brody's blessing, I used my trusty tractor to tow Karen's Porsche off my land, carefully, almost reverently, to the impound lot. And then, with a deep sense of satisfaction, I spent the rest of the day reinforcing my fence, making it stronger and taller than ever before. It was a tangible symbol of boundaries, respect, and the unyielding power of the land. Watching Karen's world collapse felt vindicating, yet it also left a bittersweet taste. While justice was served, the entire ordeal was a stark reminder of how easily one person's unchecked arrogance can disrupt and damage the lives of many. What are your thoughts on Karen's downfall? Do you believe her punishment fit the crime, or was it an extreme example of karma?